Today, we are making pressed art glass jewels in the hot glass studio at Kokomo Opalescent Glass. More specifically, Jeff and Daniel are making what we call a modified pinchback jewel. The color of the glass being used is 181 lighter amber. This is one of our many cathedral color choices. Jewels became popular during the Victorian era and are typically used to highlight important parts of the design, used as borders, or even used as a focal point for the overall design. Jewels can be used in a wide variety of projects, from glass panels to mosaics and much, much more. Teamwork and timing are crucial to the jewel making process. One of the artisans will open a pot of molten glass and draw out a small amount. Some of this is allowed to drape onto the mold, with excess getting trimmed off. Jeff taps the excess glass that remains on the punty onto the table to prevent a dangerous string from being created inadvertently. Next, he presses the glass firmly into the mold. The thinner parts of the jewel look a darker shade of orange than the thicker parts. Jeff will then trim more excess off his punty rod, dropping the excess into a collection bin that's filled with water. Now he is ready to start the process over. But there is more to it than that. Daniel has been standing to the side, warming a spatula-shaped paddle. Once Jeff has pressed the glass into the mold, Daniel springs to action. Using a thin blade, he loosens the jewel from the mold and then flips it onto the paddle. Even though the glass looks soft and gooey, it is beginning to cool and harden. The darker orange areas are much cooler than the rest, which make them quite fragile at this point, while the hotter parts of the jewel tend to bend and misform. After the jewel has been transferred to the paddle, Daniel swiftly takes it to an annealing oven. This particular one is a top-loading style that is about the size of a residential deep freezer. He carefully slides the jewel off the paddle and quickly closes the lid on the oven to keep the heat in. Although the cooling process is a slow one, many of the jewels in the oven have already cooled enough that you can clearly see their amber color. Now Daniel takes the paddle and rewarms it while he waits for Jeff to stamp the next jewel. Once the jewels are fully annealed, they are moved to the cold studio, where they are inspected for physical quality and color clarity. Flawed pieces may be remelted and turned into something else, or they may get recycled. Jewels that pass the inspection are now ready to be labeled and sold to customers all over the world for use in their exciting projects.